Welcome back to Brush Up Your Game, and today another re-review. This time the Gor Portas is in our target. Now the Gor Portas, part of Wave 0 all the way back in 2013, part of the original release. And boy, this was a ship that when it came out, I went, wow. If they can do this with Attack Wing, if this is how they bring the the Breen into this game, boy, the future's bright for what this game can do. This pack is thematic. It drips thematicism. So, let's get into that and see if it holds up almost 10 years later. The Gor Portas is a 3-2-4-4. Pretty formidable. 3 attack dice, not amazing. But you got to remember at the time, the Vorcha had 5 dice. But everything else was in like the 4-3. Romulan Dideradix was a 3. Should it have been a 3? No, probably not. Probably should have been a 4. But yeah. Has it come about? Fairly maneuverable. Evade, scan, target lock. Personally, I would have liked to have seen it with battle stations. I feel like the Breen were threatening enough. They should have had battle stations. It seemed like kind of the rule of thumb was if you cloaked, you didn't get battle stations. But then the Breen don't get battle stations, and that does hurt them. It hurts a lot. A single crew and then 4 weapon slots. There is zero reason that the Breen need 4 weapon slots. No ship needs 4 weapon slots. Although you must be target locked on a ship to fire a torpedo at it, you do not need to discard your target lock when doing so. Okay, cool. Right? We're going to have weapons. This is a ship that's going to use secondary weapons to really make itself shine. Great. I get it. And thematically, having 4 weapon slots, great. I understand. Nice ability. Still want more firepower here. And a scan is not enough. It's a start, but it's not enough to really make it shine. Now, plus in today's environment, the Gor Portas is overpriced. 20 points, probably more realistic. It's probably not going to get that much of a discount. We'll see. I think Alliance Part 3 is going to see generic Breen, so we'll get a generic Breen discount. But, yeah. But yeah, I do like the Gor Portas. It's a nice ability, but it needed a tech slot. It needed maybe even a second crew slot. I don't know. Thought Gor. All of your weapon upgrades cost 1 less squadron point. Okay, cool. If you want to throw 4 weapons on this ship, you're basically paying for Thought Gor himself. Is that enough? Probably not. But I would say he's a decent captain. I think he still kind of holds up. I don't think he's perfect. I think he's very overlooked, but I do think he at least still has somewhat of a place. And he's not bad at skill 6, especially in the realm of Dominion captains. Gold Ducat still going to be number 1 easily. You're going to see some changelings, female changeling, Golma Dread, Enabrin Tane. They're naturally going to steal some spotlights, but Thought Gor can have a place. Your other captain is SAR. When defending, your ship rolls 1 extra defense die. For a 2-point captain at 1 point, 2 skill, 1 point, I think SAR still holds up. I have run SAR. I don't love SAR, but he's skill 2. He's a point. So if you have an extra point, there are some other ways you can use that point, but if you needed a captain, he's certainly better than running a generic. And I do think that still holds up today. Photon torpedoes. The Dominion have better photon torpedoes now. And these give you no bonuses. They just let you fire from a rear arc, which the Gor Portas did not have a rear arc. That's the bigger question mark for me, is the Breen in Deep Space Nine were so feared, and I get that almost entirely we saw them fire their torpedoes from the forward arc. But why write rear arc if we don't have them? Now, 5 dice is nice, but again, they should never have cost 5 points. And they should have given something more of a bonus. Energy dissipator. Now, energy dissipator. This is what dripped thematicism when the game came out. Right? 3 dice, attack, disable this card. If the attack hits, the target suffers no damage, receives 1 energy dampening token, and you may immediately attack the same ship again with another weapon. Be it your primary weapon or a photon torpedo or some other weapon that came out in a different pack. And it costs 5 extra points for any non-Breen ship, which, okay, that makes sense. Totally makes sense for me on that. Now, the energy dissipator, very fearful weapon, or very feared weapon. What does it actually do? Well, when you get an EDT, energy dampening token, you disable all your remaining shields. You lose your cloak if you had it. Please don't ever take an energy dissipator shot with cloak. You are just a fool if you do. While the ship has an EDT, it cannot attack or raise its shields. During the planning phase, the owner does not assign a maneuver. You do a white 1 straight. And after you do that white 1 straight, then you get rid of the EDT and you can do actions and attacks as normal. So, yeah, it was basically your shields are down. You're probably going to die. At least if this was set up, you put the energy dissipator with your highest skill captain, and then you let lower skill captains finish the job. Right? That was the theory. I do think energy dissipator holds up. I think there's finesse to how to run this, but it is a weapon that still is feared if you build it correctly. I think it takes a lot more to build today than it did when everything came out in Wave 0, right? Wave 0, we had the Gor Portas, Kraxen, Negvar, Groth, Apnex, Valdor, Tiny Prize, Reliant, and then Enterprise D, Mata, and the Romulan one that I'm not remembering, the Kazara. So, a lot less options, a lot less defensive stacking, but energy dissipator. It's an interesting build, and combo it with like Nanclis on another ship. You get a neat Dominion Romulan alliance, and you can have some fun with it. Energy dissipator, definitely good mission play card. And lastly, the Breen Aid. If your ship has a scan token, when you attack, you can convert a blank into a hit. I do think Bohica's better. That's if you have Battle Station, convert a blank to a hit. But Breen Aid does make the scan work. I think that Breen Aid does work naturally with the Gor Portas. You run target lock, you run a scan, have a scan, use energy dissipator, make your attack. They roll 1 less defense die. Hopefully they take the hit with energy dissipator. You still have your scan. You use Breen Aid again on the follow-up attack. Maybe it's with photon torpedo, 5 dice in. You might be able to kill a ship that way. It gives you some backup with the conversions. Breen Aid, I think, doesn't see much play these days. It doesn't hold up to the degree that it should, only because of the clarification that each token can only be used for one card, so really you have to find a way to do multiple scans, and the only faction that's really doing multiple scanning shenanigans are the Vulcans. So you kind of got to take that for what it's worth. But yeah, I think the Gor Portas, not a huge priority to go invest in, but Energy Dissipator, definitely a fun card to use if you can get a hold of it. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Until next time, keep brushing up your game. Cheers.